Here are the trends for hair in 2024 in cuts, in color, and in styling. So when looking at trends, I always like to look at the big picture. I feel like lifestyle, the world, everything is kind of this inspiration for what will be trending in the new year. I feel like color just in general in fashion has made a comeback with really great, rich pops of color, especially red, but it is still a pop of color with a very clean base palette. So I feel like neutrals are not going anywhere, but it's about making it yours. It's about making it unique. The fact that neutrals like just became so mainstream, I feel like in the last maybe 2 years, that of course the pendulum's gonna swing in a different direction. But that old money, quiet luxury, just very classy look is still very in, and I think with good reason, because who wouldn't want to look classy? The very good news here is whether you're 19 or 69 years old, you can absolutely participate in these trends. And that's what I am so in love right now with both hair, makeup, fashion. I feel like typically, or definitely as a millennial myself, when I was 18, I feel like the trends were for 18-year-olds. You did not see a 50 or 60-year-old wearing tight low-rise jeans with a short top. You kind of just didn't. But what I love about the trend right now is that it's very classic. It's very all about that capsule wardrobe. Anyway, it sounds like I'm talking about fashion. I'm getting into the hair part, I promise. I'm going to start with color because obviously that's my favorite area. We're going to continue to see these beautiful, rich, golden blonde tones. That's going to be a big hit. Blondes that look really natural. So I feel like last year it was all about like brunette, 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 rich, chocolatey browns. And every blonde I feel like was going brunette. But I feel like now it's more about celebrating both. You can be a blonde, but just keep it soft and golden, as opposed to those really harsh ash blondes that we saw years ago. When it comes to brunettes, we're shifting into a more of a cool, less warm brown tones. And I feel like this is like the brunette that's grown up. So the warm golden browns were for that blonde that just went brunette, and adding all those rich warm tones was needed. But now it's like an official true brunette without the added intense warm tones. And for the third category, redheads. I feel like a beautiful red, rich, beautiful red in the tone that suits your skin tone. I feel like many years when reds are in, it's like a very cool red that's in, or a very golden, orangey, almost coppery red that's in. And I feel like this time the redheads, it's like pick the tone that suits your skin tone, which I love. So I do think we're gonna be seeing a lot more blondes and kind of brightening up, whereas in the last year or so, we've just been seeing everyone kind of go a little bit darker. But like I said, keeping it very golden, vanilla, just very kind of natural blonde kind of colors and tones. Now for cuts. I feel like the big cut last year was very layered. We've all seen that beautiful 90s blowout with a ton of layers and a ton of volume, very luxe, and I think a little bit more toned version of that. Still beautiful layers, but that don't look as exaggerated. But I think the biggest cut this year is going to be a bob. Whether it's like a very sophisticated French bob that is just absolutely classic. Again, whether you're 19 or 99 years old, I feel like this length with this shape just kind of suits every face shape. I've been hearing it referred to as a bottleneck cut, and that's when it's actually above your shoulders. You actually see a little bit of the neck in your profile. The lob definitely had its moment for a couple of years. It was very cute, but it was like that. I haven't committed completely to the bob. It's like shorter, it's very clean, it's blunt, but it's not fully a bob yet. And I feel like for this year, we're going to see bobs. I just realized my hair is actually tucked in. My hair is still long, but I do have a hair appointment next week, so stay tuned. So my prediction with length is either keep it long and, have those beautiful layers, still adding some volume. I don't think long, healthy, beautiful hair will ever not be in style, but I definitely think this year will be the year of bobs. And a daring bob, a bob where it's not touching the shoulder. That's the very key feature. If it's touching the shoulder, it's not a bob, it's long hair, at least for this year. Another shape that's going to be very in is curls with a contoured cut, meaning that there is volume on the sides. Typically with a lot of cuts, especially with layers, you're always trying to avoid the bulk or the extra volume on the sides here. Whereas very beautifully polished curls, but kind of in that more contoured round shape, I feel like is going to be really in. And again, that's like adding that personal touch kind of to a bob, but for curly hair. And also for color, I think really subtle highlights, just like where it's almost the same color as the base color. It's just a shimmer, just a pop to the color you already have. I think that's definitely more the trend. So definitely less contrast this year and just very soft, shimmery, a highlight will be very in. While we're on the topic of cuts, let's talk bangs. We know curtain bangs had their moment, but I feel the bangs that are going to be in this year is the Birkin bang, a la Jane Birkin. So where it like skims the eyebrow. To me, this is like the sexiest bangs you can have. I think curtain bangs are very feminine, very cute. It's like a peekaboo, here I am. Whereas the Birkin bang is just chic, it's edgy, still feminine, but much more cool. I also feel with the length of these bangs, or regardless of your face shape, I feel like these can look really, really good, just on basically everyone. When it comes to accessories, I feel like we've seen clips and just metal hair accessories, and I feel like we're going again more into that luxurious kind of feminine, very classy kind of hair accessories. And that is a bow. Whether you like this trend or not, I feel like it's kind of more exploded in the last couple of months, and I feel like I already saw a ton of things saying no more bows in hair for 2024. But regardless of whether you like it or not, I think it's kind of here to stay. I personally don't dislike it. I think it definitely needs to go with the outfit and kind of your vibe and your personality. But I do feel like with fashion, with everything being really oversized and kind of androgynous, I kind of like that there is this juxtaposition of having really feminine hair with a pretty bow. Also, in terms of color, I feel like a new thing that we're kind of reintroducing is the bold buttery blonde. All one color. This is not a highlight. This is not a balayage. This is fully blonde, like blonde bombshell. And mainly on long hair. I feel like in the last couple of years on long hair, there's always some contrast, there's always a root. This is no root, solid, buttery blonde hair. This is definitely a very high maintenance look. And the reason why I think it's a little bit edgy and kind of different is because it is so high maintenance. So feeding into that expensive hair, old money kind of trend, I feel like that's where this is coming from. But yeah, I wanted to keep it really simple and really focus on these big trends that I think we will be seeing very much of in 2024. Of course, there are always micro trends, and I'm a big fan of that. I think you should always make it your own. You should never stick to something that is a trend if it doesn't suit you, your personality, your coloring, or any of that. You should absolutely always wear something that feels good and that feels authentically you. Sometimes when a client will say like, what should I do to my hair? Like, what should I change? I want a complete change. Like, what's right for me? Or is this haircut right for me? And I always ask like, how do you feel about it? Because that, you don't have to be a hair expert to know what feels good and what feels right on you. And honestly, someone that even isn't following a trend but looks chic in their very own way, chef's kiss, that to me is like the most beautiful look. It's fun to see what is trending, to see whether we're on trend. If you're already thinking, I kind of want a bob, I don't know, and then you find out it's trendy, it might maybe persuade you to actually go out and get it done, but it should, the desire should have come from you naturally to begin with. At least that's my approach. But I hope you found some inspiration in this video, and may you have your best hair year yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Am I completely blending with the background? I feel like I'm blending in with this shagreen cabinet behind me.